hear me now? Can you hear me now? Mic test 1 2 3. Mic test 1 2 3. Hi Abhishek. Hi Rupa. Can you please let me know if you can hear me okay now? Mic test 1 2 3. Mic test 1 2 3. Can hear you now. That's good. Yeah, I had forgotten to select the right audio input. So yeah, that was the issue. So I have changed it and seemed like it is picking up. Usually it just picks up automatically, but for some reason it didn't today. So I just had to go and change it manually. So I hope you're able to hear me okay now. Okay, so how you guys are doing? It is starting to get a bit colder here in the UK. So yeah, it's not really sunny outside. Seems like slightly windy, but it is still not like crazy cold. But it will certainly get colder over the next month or so. Currently, the temperature shows 11 degrees Celsius, but feels like 5 degrees Celsius. So outside might be a bit more colder, but here it's all good inside. And I hope the video is not overexposed, because on my laptop, on my screen, it seems to be okay, but I'm looking at the camera display that shows a bit overexposed, but I think it should be okay. It's not like um, too overexposed, so it should be okay. Doing good. How about you? Doing well. Yeah. Bit of a slow start to the weekend, but weekend just flies by. So need to plan a few things. Thanks, Catharsis, for subscribing. Really appreciate it. So far, I haven't seen any questions as such in the chat, but if you have any questions, please feel free to post it. We are almost about to reach 5-minute mark. I will wait for another minute or two to see if there are any other questions. So yeah, if you have any questions, do let me know. If not, we can just have a casual chat if you want. So yeah, I have a bit of time today, so I will wait for a couple of more minutes. Did you guys see the humanoid robot which can do your chores? I looked at it, and before I digged deeper into it, it looked quite promising. But then at the end of the day, it's all being controlled by you. So why not just do it yourself rather than controlling the robot? So far, spending $20,000 is too crazy. But if it develops and if it can actually do stuff autonomously, then probably it could be a good investment. But at this point, I think it's just a concept, and don't think that it's worth the money. And they're asking for $200 as a what do you call it, to pre-order. And it's not even pre-order, it's just you are going to reserve your seat in the line. So I think they're just trying to acquire some funding to build those things, but I personally think it's not worth going for it. Maybe in future, after 3-4 years, if it develops, yeah, then maybe. But at this point, it's just very disappointing, like Rupa said. Currently, I'm doing my master's in artificial intelligence in London. We also have industry placements. So, can you tell me that how I can be able to take placement and get the job in the UK? So the placement year or the industry placement, different universities call it different way, but essentially it's the same thing. Where after you finish your masters, you will still be enrolled in the master's course, but you'll have to find um, find a job or internship in your relevant domain. Some universities accept part-time jobs as well, but I think it's better to try to find something relevant to your course. So if you, well, you have to find it by yourself. University is not going to bring companies on campus or interviews of that sort. So you'll have to apply on your own on different platforms like LinkedIn, CV Library, and there are many others. So you'll have to do it yourself. Yes, university will help you in terms of creating a profile, CV, and those kind of things, even probably preparing for interviews, but that is mostly towards generic questions like where do you see yourself in 5 years, how to introduce yourself, and things like that. Less so from technical side. If you need some help from technical side, I think you should be able to reach out to your professors, and hopefully they will be able to help you. So those are the things. So at the end of the day, it's all you who needs to apply for jobs and try to find something. And how can I be able to take placement? Yeah, so as I said, you need to do it by yourself, but there are few things that you can do. And I have made a dedicated video on this, so let me quickly grab a link and put it in the chat. I'm sure that will help you quite a lot, because I covered, I don't remember, maybe 15 or maybe 13 14 ways that I used, maybe less, maybe more, I don't remember exactly. So you can maybe watch this video to see what you can do bit differently than simply just applying for jobs on different portals. So hopefully this will be a useful video for you, Abhishek. I'm 25 years old, did BTech in IT 2024 with 7.1 GPA out of 10 in UP Government College, India. Due to lack of consistency, not good in coding, currently at 0, preparing for GATE right now, exam in Feb 26. All the best, mate. I think you're almost about to reach the exam date, not much time left. I hope you were able to prepare well. Don't think I'd be able to crack it. Is there anything I can do again to start again coding or learn something, or just basic projects? um yes, there are a lot of things that you can do. uh, so as you prepared for gate, I'm sure you would be slightly better than any average student who might have graduated in IT or computer science. So that is good for you, because I have prepared for gate as well myself when I was in my final year, and was able to qualify, but rank wasn't really that great. So yeah, I would say it was really helpful for me, and I gain a lot of skills, mostly from algorithm side of things, databases side of things, and many others. In terms of improving your coding skills, I would really recommend you to check out lead code. So let me put it in the chat. I think you might already know, but I will still put it in the chat. Yeah, so if you go to lead code, or if you simply search for lead code on Google, you should be able to find this platform. Here you can start with simple problems. So they have different tier of problems, so easy, medium, hard. You can go for easy to start with, just to build some confidence and familiarize yourself with the UI of lead code and how everything works, how to test different test cases. And don't just focus on easy, sometimes also look at the completion rate, because sometimes you will see that it's an easy problem but the completion rate is quite low. So that suggests that a lot of people still find that to be difficult, but as per lead code it might be the easy problem. So look at both of those things, and to start with, look at easy problems with high completion rate and start with those, and slowly you will become more familiar with the UI itself and also the programming language of your choice. So you can choose C, C++, Java, or Python, whichever language you are already comfortable with or know the basics of. If not, then I would suggest maybe think about in which domain you would like to make your career. So for example, if you want to be a data scientist, then Python might be the better option. If you want to be a web developer or a full stack developer, probably JavaScript would be, or TypeScript would be a better language to begin with. Um, if you want to be a backend developer, then maybe go for Java. Java is still quite popular, but yeah, you may have to think about in which domain you would like to go in, what are your interests, and based on that pick a programming language and try to solve as many problems as possible. That will certainly help you to develop some coding skills and become more proficient in programming. And once you have decided which domain you would like to go in, try to explore some videos on YouTube. There are a lot of open source material available. Watch those videos, work on some projects, and then decide if that is something which you actually want to be in. And if you think yes, then maybe you can take some paid courses. There are a lot of good courses on Udemy, and you should be able to buy them for 500 rupees or maybe even less, depending on the offer. If you're seeing the price is above 1000, I would suggest maybe wait for a few days. Price will definitely drop to 500 or below, and then you can buy it. So those are some of the recommendations, but if you have any specific question, please feel free to post it in the chat. I will try to respond to that. Which job in data field which is easy to get a job in the UK at the same time having the more chances as a visa sponsorship? So this visa sponsorship varies a lot from company to company. Some companies might give you visa for a simple data analysis role, and when I say simple, you will probably just be using SQL and Excel and not anything advanced, and they might still sponsor you. But then there are companies where you may need to use some advanced skills. But as a fresher or as someone who doesn't have a lot of experience in data science or the field of data, I think data analytics is one of the safest way to get in the industry. And I would also recommend the initial goal should be to get a job, be it sponsored job or not. Once you are in a company and you have worked there for 1 year or 1.5 year or maybe 2 years, there are good chances that you will be able to secure a sponsorship. So I would say data analysis is probably the safest option, and but the competition could be high as well, because as you require less skills, a lot of people might be trying to find a job in that domain. But I think data analysis um, would be the job where you need least amount of skills. Hi, I recently graduated in data science. I don't have any experience. Can you please tell me what to add in my resume, like in experience and stuff? Yeah, as a fresher, sometimes it becomes very difficult to show your experience. I recommend putting projects, like different type of projects. So if you have done, let's say, data analysis project, that is good. Machine learning project, you can add that. So different type project, don't put similar projects. For example, you worked on computer vision problem, where you tried um, object detection, or you just did some classification. They both are kind of same projects. There might be difference in the um, basic fundamentals that you use in those projects, but at the end of the day they both are computer vision projects. So what I recommend is do projects from different uh, domains. So it could be computer vision, it could be natural language processing, it could be traditional machine learning project, data analysis project, data engineering project. So you do different type of projects and create a project section. So you can start with a summary of your profile, and then you can add your education, and then you can have your skills, and after that you can have project section. With this you should be able to fill your one page CV. Don't make it bigger than that, because as you are a fresher, I highly recommend keeping your CV limited to just one page, unless you have like really good projects that you have done and you really want to showcase them. Then by all means you can have more pages, but I highly recommend keeping it one page. And if you have done those many projects, you should mention what was the goal of the project, what were the skills that you used or tools you used in the project, and what was the outcome of the project. How did it make an impact in the real life? So if you do those things, I think you should be able to have sufficient content to put on your CV. And if you have done internships or any hackathons or any volunteer work, I think you should definitely put those things on your CV if it is relevant to data science. If a company mentions verbally that they will look to sponsor visa once the PSW is near expiry, which has a year left, but they don't mention anything in writing in the contract, is that okay? Um, for majority of the cases, yes, that is okay. And that's how it was in my company. I didn't have anything written, but obviously I had talked to the HR and my manager well before I joined the organization. So yes, for most part it is perfectly fine. One thing I would like to mention here is that in some scenarios, company pays all the expense related to the visa. In other cases, you have to pay half of the amount. So that might be something that can change at later stage. Sometimes they say that, yeah, fine, we will sponsor you, and you might imagine that they will pay the whole fees and everything, but then they might ask you to pay half of the fees, and sometimes you may have to pay the full fees as well. I don't know, I have not seen the full paying full fees scenario as of yet, but I have seen the other two where some of the people have got sponsored and the company paid the full fees or the expense of it, and then there were scenarios where candidate had to pay half of the amount. So if you want to get clarification on that, then you may want to reach out to the HR or your manager. In most cases, the final answer comes from the HR team. So it's totally up to you if you want to reach out to your manager or the HR. Hi Roshan, I'm currently pursuing masters in data science at QMUL. One of my modules, applied statistics, has been quite challenging for me, and I'm struggling to find good learning resources on YouTube. Unfortunately, my professor's teaching isn't very effective, so I am looking for better ways to understand the subject. Any recommendation? So I don't know how much in depth the module is and what all things you need, but if you want, I have a statistics playlist on my oh, I've recently seen this courses section on YouTube. So in that, YouTube has already put the statistics um, playlist there. So it is consist of like 21 videos, and it covers a lot of the basic stuff and then also some of the advanced stuff like central limit theorem and various distributions. So you can maybe start with this playlist, and if you think this is something you have already covered and you're comfortable with and you want something advanced, then I think StatQuest is a good channel where you can find a lot of different playlists for a lot of different concepts. And then the other channel is 3 blue 1 brown. I think those two channels are definitely go to. Back in I think 2018 or something, when I was learning uh, statistics for data science and data analytics, I really made use of those two channels quite a lot, and I found them to be helpful. There are some concepts where they can do a bit better job in explaining, but overall I think those are the two good channels. I'll put them in the chat as well. Give me a second please. And yeah, you can always look at this playlist which I shared just now in the chat. StatQuest. So StatQuest with Josh Stammer. It's a very popular channel. I'm sure most of the people here might have heard about it. So let me put this link as well. And 3 blue 1 brown. So yeah, these are all the resources that I can suggest for now, and I think you should be good to go if you cover content from these three resources. I worked as an honorary research assistant to extend my dissertation into a joint publication. The official appointment was only for 2 months, but the project got delayed with break in continuous work. Can I ask my supervisor professor to provide an additional letter that shows my engagement during the period? Could be helpful in showing that I was engaged in some work through. Yeah, that's definitely. You should certainly ask for a letter, and usually the supervisors or professors, they are very comfortable, or they are very um, happy to provide these things to you. So I would highly recommend reaching out to them and ask for letter, and also if possible get it on university's letterhead, so and then signed by your supervisor as well, so it's more like a official document rather than just a piece of paper. So that would certainly help you, and you should certainly showcase that thing in your CV. Could you please suggest a good MSc project idea that would help me gain hands-on experience with an industry relevant tech stack? Sure, I can. But my follow-up question to you would be, do you have any particular interest in certain domains? So, for example, natural language processing, or maybe computer vision, and anything else, maybe just machine learning or deep learning side of things. So if you have any particular interest, please do let me know in the chat. I do have a couple of videos on various data science projects. I'm sure you should be able to find something in those videos as well, but if you can maybe post your interest here, I can try to think about some innovative projects or some projects which I probably might have worked on during my job. After joining the company, when is a good time to bring up the sponsorship matter with 1 year left in PSW and there is 6 months of probation? So after probation or when? After probation is definitely the time when you should seriously having conversation with your manager, but in different companies it works in a different way. So in probation itself, sometimes you have like 3 month check-in period where your manager gives you feedback about how good or bad you're doing your job. Most of the time is positive because you are new, and the way the company works is also new, so it's not very critical, but most of the time it's fine. So yeah, you can very briefly mention during that time and ask them, uh, should I reach out to you or HR once my probation is done for sponsorship, so that they are aware of your situation. Because in some cases I have seen that managers don't know exactly how this whole visa process works and how much time it can take to get everything sorted, and about cost and stuff. So sometimes they are completely unaware of those things. So you can very briefly mention it during the check-in period if there are any. If not, you can schedule a check-in by yourself after 3 months of your work, and have conversation about performance, the expectations from your manager, and if you have any questions from your manager in general, you can ask those things. And then during that conversation you can very briefly mention about your sponsorship scenario. And then once you finish your probation, that is where you should seriously start talking to your manager, and don't delay it by and don't leave it until, let's say, 1 month remaining on your post-study work visa. So yeah, I think those are the timelines that I would suggest. I'm applying on Indeed and LinkedIn but not getting interview calls. Could you please share some tips to improve my chance? I just now posted a video. I think the first link that I posted. Let me post that video again. So in this video, I've talked about quite a lot of different ways you can increase your chances of getting call and eventually job. So you can try all of these. But one thing I would highly recommend is apply to as many jobs as possible. Don't be selective that this is the job where they have mentioned some of the skills which I don't have. I should not apply to this because they're going to reject me anyways. Or even if I get a call, I will be rejected in the interview. Those are the things which may happen, but in best case scenario you might get a call and then they might not even look at the skills which they have mentioned in the job description, because most of the time the job descriptions that are built or written are done by the HR team, and they don't really know exactly what skills are needed. And in today's world, most of these job descriptions are being written by AI, so it could be written by ChatGPT or Gemini, so they might just include some generic skills. So apply to all the jobs. So if you are applying for, let's say, data science job, I would also recommend applying for data science, data analytics, data engineering, machine learning engineer. If you have LLM skills, then also apply for LLM engineer jobs. So there are so many different type of jobs that you can apply to. So don't restrict yourself to just applying for data science jobs. You should apply to anything that is related to data and machine learning. You should apply to all those jobs to increase your chances. And one other thing is, in the job market there are so many jobs. I think approximately 30% of the jobs, they're just fake, so they're not really a job. So if and don't try to customize your CV for each and every job. Make a very good one overall CV, and just use that CV to apply to as many jobs as possible. That way you will be applying to uh, all the real jobs, and you will not miss any of the real jobs. So that will certainly increase your chances of getting calls and hopefully the job as well. Is there any way that we can have one-to-one call or meetup, because I want to discuss more in person? Yes, definitely. Usually that is possible via channel membership. So let me see if I can share the join option. They keep changing the UI of YouTube dashboard. Every time I come here, have to find those things. But if you are watching it on phone or even on laptop, beside the subscribe button, you should be able to see a join button. If you click on it, you should be able to see different tiers. So you might be able to see one-to-one session, so that is good for any kind of general conversation. And then there is CV review meeting. So if you want to go through your CV or something, you can choose that, or interview preparation. So that is the last tier, I think. So you should be able to choose. So depending on your questions, you can choose the suitable one. Can you suggest any Python packages to learn for handling XML data, XML to dictionary, compare data frames, and data wrangling? My go-to package is Pandas, and it usually works just fine. I haven't worked with XML data in a very, very, very long time, so I'm sure you would have tried using Pandas, and it might not have worked very well for XML. But that's why you're asking this question. But if you haven't tried um Pandas, I think that is probably the best package. I'm sure they must be having a module or something to um, access XML data, but it's very rare to find XML data, at least in my uh, working environment or the projects when I worked on. So I would still suggest Pandas, but you can also look into maybe PySpark if the data is pretty big and you want some parallelism and want to handle some massive data. Then you can look into PySpark. It's open source package, very powerful package, I would say. So those two would be my recommendation. But if you have faced any issues with Pandas, please do let me know in the chat as well, because that would be helpful for me to understand uh, in a bit better way, and it would be good for my learning as well. In the meantime, I can do a very quick search to see if there are any package which I have used in the past for XML. From a very quick search, there are some libraries that they are mentioning, things like XML to dict, LXML. So yeah, I don't think a lot of people are recommending Pandas. So I think Pandas is certainly not a very good package for XML specifically. For web scraping and XML parsing, which is the best library? Oh yeah, I completely forgot about Scrapy. So Scrapy is another package which I personally used quite a lot when I was doing a web scraping project, and not sure what is your use case, but if you're dealing with XML data, I'm assuming it could be something related to web scraping. So maybe Scrapy can be something which is which can be very useful. So do look into it. Beautiful Soup is mostly for um, scraping again, but it might have some XML uh, module as well, just to handle the data. And of course, LXML seems to be the most popular one. So yeah, give it a go to these packages and see if it works for your use case. I'm probably not the most knowledgeable person when it comes to handling XML files, as I've not used it in a long time. All right, I don't see any other questions in the chat. Not sure if the chat is lagging or what, but I don't see any questions in the chat. So I assume these were all the questions. Okay, I can see things again. So maybe it was just a laggy chat. I haven't worked with XML data yet, but I have to start soon. So I'm looking for resources. That's good. We're just starting to look at XML data already. So yeah, maybe try those things. Scrapey, Beautiful Soup, LXML. Um, I'm sure if not all, at least one of them will work for you for sure. Um, if you are comfortable answering this, Samita, so I think last month or maybe before that, you were mentioning you're going through some interview and stuff. So, what is your current status? Are you still looking for a job, or have you found one? About to start? Already started? How's everything going? Wow, it's already 40 minutes in, so didn't realize. Time is certainly flying. I gave interviews for multiple companies in the last 3 4 months. I have received one offer, haven't started yet. Look forward to start in this month. That's great. Congratulations. That's certainly a very good news. All right. If we don't have any more questions, I think we can call it a day. Um, yeah, I'm just going through some of the previous chats just to see if I'm missed something so that I need to answer. Hmm. Yeah, I think I've answered all the questions. So thanks everyone for joining. Thank you. Always thankful for your suggestion and guidance. No problem, Samita. It's always good to talk to you, and all the best for your new job. Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks for joining. I will see you guys next Saturday, 12 p.m. UK time. So have a good weekend. Happy learning. Bye.